was so funny." William's response to Kate's birthday plans left royal fans in stitches. Prince William missed part of his wife Kate's 37th birthday celebrations today as he visited the London Air Ambulance headquarters, but made guests laugh when questioned about what he had planned for his wife. The Duchess of Cambridge is celebrating her 37th birthday today, and with her husband Prince William visiting the London Air Ambulance service and her children Princess Charlotte and Prince George understood to be back at school this week, it was likely a quiet one for Kate. His visit coincided with him being named patron of their service's 30th anniversary celebrations. The Duke of Cambridge previously served an air ambulance pilot for a number of years. But during the engagement, one of the guests asked how Kate would be spending her special day, to which William gave a cryptic, yet hilarious response. The jovial prince kept his cards close to his chest, saying to the guest at the engagement, "Now that would be telling." The woman and other guests laughed at his response. This year will be Kate's first birthday as a mother of three, after giving birth to Prince Louis on April 23, 2018. Although Prince George, 5, is expected to attend school during the day, it is assumed the Duchess of Cambridge will spend the day with all three children, including 8-month-old Prince Louis and Princess Charlotte, 3. Kate's family, including parents Carol and Michael and siblings James and Pippa, may also join the celebrations. However, despite spending a private day with close friends and family, the Duchess has had some pretty fun celebrations in the past. In her early 20s, Kate was often seen heading to nightclubs with her sister Pippa Middleton. But after she was linked to Prince William around the age of 25, the Duchess was often surprised with romantic meals from her now husband. For her 27th birthday, the Duke of Cambridge reportedly surprised Kate with a candlelit dinner on the royal family's Balmoral estate in Scotland. But so far this year, the Duke of Cambridge has gleefully remained tight-lipped on what he has planned for his wife. Despite her good looks, Kate Middleton appears to have left little impression on the academic staff at St Andrews University. "She was another girl in a pashmina," says one tutor candidly. "When I read about her charismatic personality, well, maybe it's developed, but it wasn't that obvious then." Some of her fellow female students even admit to having felt slightly sorry for her. While others were having the time of their lives, Kate diligently went to lectures and seemed to put in more work than most. Indeed, she struck some who shared history of art seminars and tutorials with her as seeming rather shy and vulnerable. She didn't hang around with the girls in her year, and didn't seem to like the ones that hung around Prince William. Unlike many of them, Kate wasn't a Lone Ranger or didn't speak with an exaggerated upper-class accent and had no airs and graces. Most of the time, she didn't even wear makeup. In short, she didn't stand out, and this quality alone was a potent part of her allure to Prince William. Unlike many of the girls who tried to catch the royal eye, she never looked as if she was trying too hard. Having been educated at Marlborough College, a mixed-sex public school, Kate Middleton was relaxed around men. But William, who'd been largely educated at boys' schools, clearly found the female sex somewhat alarming, particularly in his history of art tutorials, where there were 7 girls to 2 men. Professor Brendan Cassidy, his first tutor, recalls, "William seemed very uncomfortable with the girls, and in the second or third week, the other man didn't turn up for the tutorial, so William was there with 7 women. His body language said it all. He tried to wrap himself up, with his arms. But he didn't find Kate threatening at all. In fact, she struck William as one of the least pushy of the girls he encountered in his first year." As well as going to the same history of art lectures, they also had rooms in the same hall of residence. Before long, they discovered they were both sports enthusiasts. So, as the friendship developed, they swam and surfed together, played tennis on the university courts and went to pubs and wine bars. She had a quiet, confident presence and laughed easily, but Kate had acquired a boyfriend, 4th-year student Rupert Finch, and William's eye was roving elsewhere. There seemed little chance, in short, that they'd ever be more than good friends. By a remarkable coincidence, One of the first things that William discovered he had in common with Kate was that they'd both been on expeditions to Chile the year before. Kate's trip had followed immediately after William's, so they knew many of the same people and could compare notes, share stories and laugh about the discomforts. It had been Prince Charles' idea for him to spend part of his gap year taking part in Operation Raleigh, which takes young people from a mixture of countries and backgrounds and gives them the chance to explore, face major challenges and do some good. Before leaving on the 11-week trip, William met Malcolm Sutherland, a Raleigh expedition leader, for a briefing at St. James's Palace. He was in jeans and t-shirt, scruffy, recalls Malcolm. He'd just been dragged out of bed and he was sitting there with his cup of tea and his sun-blessed white bread toast. It was in a sitting room upstairs, tiny, very casual, with computer games in the corner. Malcolm warned him that conditions would be extremely tough, with the volunteers expected to sleep in tents or on floors in community projects. By the time William flew out to Chile, he was very apprehensive. It was the first time he'd spent any significant time away from home, and he knew that some of his teammates would be from backgrounds that were very different from his own. On arrival in Patagonia, he barely spoke. The first task was a 3-week journey by 2-man sea kayaks, in which members carried all their food and water, with nights spent under the stars. Food was porridge for breakfast, dry biscuits and tinned sardines for lunch, and dehydrated rations for supper. To everyone's dismay, there was day after day of driving rain and icy winds. For 5 nights, they were stranded on the beach while a raging storm threatened to blow away their tents. Sometimes, they huddled like sardines under big tarpaulins, soaked to the skin and bitterly cold. Not all that surprisingly, one of the party lost the plot. He was an English boy from the Youth at Risk program, with a typical profile, serious family problems, a history of drugs and no experience of life outside the deprived squalor of the inner city. Shouting and swearing aggressively, he began lashing out. It was a shocking and intimidating display, and no one knew how to handle it. Except William. You'd expect someone like William to let someone else deal with it. But he connected with that boy and was the only person that could, says Malcolm. He told him to sort himself out, but in such a way that they became very good friends afterwards. William became the only person the guy would want to talk to if there were issues. He acted as a sort of go-between. I don't think I could have done it at that age, to be able to go to an 18 or 19-year-old with a shaved head, who'd had a hell of a tough upbringing and a drug issue and who was really, really angry. He got so much respect from that. Instead of going into his shell, as lots of people did, William energized the group, tried to keep things going, had a joke. Every project group relies on people like that, but I wouldn't have predicted he'd be one of them.